Last night, our beloved Portland Trail Blazers, boy, they did something nobody else in the NBA certainly could.
For the first time this year.
Oh, play it.
Wish, I'll be your fantasy.
I'll be your rope, I'll be your love, be everything that you need. I love you more with every breath, truly, madly, deeply do. I will be strong, I will be faithful, cause I'm counting on a new beginning.
Turn it up, Swag. Crank that. Come on. We're all singing it in the car anyway.
10 out of 10. Let's go.
Williams, here's the shot. It's up off the breeze, and it was tipped by Williams. It went skidding wide, and that is a 16-game losing streak that the Blazers had to Oklahoma City. They outlast the Thunder 121-119.
Here's a fun fact for you. As, by the way, underrated, overlooked lyric, I want to lay with you in the sea. What sea do you go to where the waves aren't just constantly smacking you in the face?
You're not laying in the sea with anybody?
I don't think that's a real thing.
You're not a sea layer?
No, I'm not a sea layer. I don't go past my knees in the sea. I don't know what lives under there. Here's a fun stat for you to kick it off. I got a couple stats for you.
Yeah, it was a very fun game last night.
It didn't start out that way.
No, I thought, hey, I'm going to bed at halftime. This is great, early bedtime. And then, wait a minute, what? They're back in the game? Okay, I guess I'm not going to bed at halftime.
Chauncey Billups, 0-16 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tiago Splitter, 1-0.
He's never lost to him, man.
They hadn't beat the Thunder since Terry Stotts was roaming the sidelines.
It's wild how long that streak has been. And I know that the Thunder have been a wagon the last couple of years, and number one seed 2 years ago, and NBA champion last year. Let's not act like there weren't some bad Thunder, some building Thunder teams in there, and we've been tanking for a while too, so I get it. But losing 16 in a row to one team, what is the longest losing streak we've ever had as a franchise?
To another team?
To another team, because that has to be in the... Like, we don't tank very often in Portland. We obviously had our Jailblazer eras, but we had a long run where we were a playoff team every year from, like, the 70s through the early 2000s. It was a long run of going to the postseason, so it's hard for me to imagine we have a much longer losing streak than that.
God, I'm doing
Hell, we even beat when the Warriors won 73 games in the regular season. We beat them. You and I were at the game. Dame went off.
That's right.
We won. We were one of their 9 defeats that year.
I don't know. I need to look this up. I don't know what their longest losing streak
is. That the record?
Is
there one that's longer?
Team is
16 in a row is nuts.
16 is nuts. Like, to think about Terry Stotts coaching this team was the last time they won.
That was a long time ago,
That
man.
stat, he said that stat yesterday on the end of the show, and it kind of blew my mind.
Yes, me too.
Because I hadn't really calculated that they hadn't beaten them in that long. Now,
it's a team you played a couple, like, it's not like an Eastern Conference team
them
that you
3
see
or 4
twice.
times a year.
You play them multiple times a year.
So, yeah, that was that was jarring. They also made some other history yesterday. They snapped that losing streak. It's their second win ever after trailing by 20-plus after the first quarter.
That's pretty remarkable.
And here, this is the 7th largest comeback since 96-97. They're now 5-0 against the spread as an underdog. They're 1-2 against the spread as a favorite. Bet the Blazers as a dog.
I guess, yeah, they like barking when they're an underdog.
All their loss, they have a couple losses as underdogs outright. But
sure.
It looks like the longest one was, well, to both the Celtics and the Lakers in the early 70s when they were first
starting out.
17 apiece to the
so it was
Celtics
almost the
from
record.
71 to 76 and to the Lakers 70 to 73.
At least
I almost don't want to count that too because that's like the inception of your franchise.
Say, at least so that's at the beginning. Those were wagon teams at that point. They could have tied the record, but they didn't. They won last night.
Not so fast, my friend.
A great game from Denny Avdia after having a horrific start.
He didn't make his first field goal until the third quarter.
I mean, he was living at the free throw line. The only reason he scored was because he was just hammering his way to the free throw line. He couldn't make a shot to save his life.
No, he started 0 for 11.
Yeah.
So that tells you where he had. He had 16 free throws, by the way.
Almost a triple-double, too.
Shaden had 18. Drew had 22. Drew was really good in the second and fourth quarters.
Yes, he was.
Tamani was a good offensive addition, and then you had Jeremy off the bench again with 20, and maybe the man of the night, at least the way they celebrated in the locker room.
Ooh.
Dwap Reith came off the bench and gave them 12. He was 4 of 5 from 3.
I mean, you talk about the comeback that they had down by 20 in the first quarter, and you're thinking, oh, God, the Thunder aren't even playing a couple of their key guys, and we're already down by 20. This is not going to go well. I know the history between these two teams. it was really him that got him going. I mean, he could miss. It felt like in the second quarter, he started draining threes left and right. He got the hot hand. They kept feeding him. And it just kind of brought the arena back into the game. It brought the team back into the game. And when you can erase a deficit like that, that's a huge learning experience and motivator, I think, for this team. We're playing one of the best in the league. Again, I know OKC is shorthanded, but you're down by 20 points at the end of the first quarter. And then what were they down at halftime? 5, 4, 6? I mean,
they cut the deficit.
They cut it down huge. I mean, you're in the game going into the locker room at halftime. And so just the ability to know that you're capable of doing that against a quality opponent like OKC, it was a really fun game. It's funny with them, like they have stretches where, and I think you texted this to the group feed, but I was thinking the same thing watching them. Like, they look so bad offensively for stretches of a game.
They look like one of the worst offenses in the NBA.
You look at the score and you're like, but they're only down by 4. I don't get it. I have a hard time computing that in my head sometimes. And then they got hot late, started down by 8 at halftime. Kamara hit a big 3 late. You mentioned Avdia, who got going. Like, Drew Holiday was huge in the fourth quarter for them. You have a 40-point fourth quarter to kind of flip the game on its head. It was a really fun night at the Moda Center last night.
Yeah, the Hartenstein, he had that like layup full court thing at the end of the half to walk it off.
That's right.
How was that not an offensive foul, by the way?
Well, look, here's the other part of this.
2 hands in the back.
Their offense did finally pick it up. They shot as a team. Look at that. They shot 44%. They outshot the Thunder from 3. Guess what happens?
Yeah.
Welcome to the NBA. That's kind of what it is. Like every other game, they don't shoot like that. They're either going to be in a dogfight because their defense is keeping them in it, or they're going to get blown out.
I think somebody had the number on the broadcast that like 33% or better. They're undefeated on the year, under 33% from 3. They're winless on the year, whatever.
Yeah, I gave you the stat for Stat or Story yesterday. They're on going into last night. They were 26th in the league at 32.1. So I wouldn't be shocked if it's that number and higher. They win the game. It was the second, third quarter defense that really helped propel them, not just their shooting. Thunder had 24 points in the second, 21 in the third. Reith is a really fun player when he has it going.
Mm-hmm.
He also has nights where if he's not doing that, it's like, damn.
Why are we heat checking right now?
That can be a little tough.
Yeah.
Denny not having it from the field. He was 5 of 17, but finishing with 26, 10, and 9.
Yeah.
That's a great sign of leadership and just playmaking ability.
Well, and finding different ways to score, right? You're like, your shot's not falling. Let's attack the hoop and get to the free throw line.
Look, the Laker game, they couldn't shoot, but this is kind of what I'm talking about with him. Of like, he finished the Laker game with 2 assists.
Yeah.
And he had 33 points. So it's not that like it was his fault they lost. He was their only offense for most of that Laker game. It's that I actually think he has this ability to get guys involved and find them. He had some turnovers, one bad pass kind of at the end of the game that was like, oh, what are you doing there? But for the most part, like he kind of generated their offense, and Drew had some big shots in the fourth quarter. They came up big when they needed to. The Thunder absolutely looked a little gassed and shorthanded by the end, but I'm not going to take the Blazers' credit away because nobody else has been able to beat the Thunder. I'm going to tell you this. It's 8 games, and barring injury, which is the biggest of thing in that season because it's such a long one.
Which they're already banged up and shorthanded to begin with.
Right. I feel confident enough to tell you that I think if they're largely able to keep these guys intact and then get the guys who are injured back, I feel like even though it's 8 games, you can look at this team and say this is about a 500 team or better.
Oh, yeah. They're going to hover around it most of the year.
I kind of think the way the West is going right now early on, this feels at least like a minimum a play-in team.
I mean, right now, sure. I don't know if I would have said that after they lost to the shorthanded Lakers on Monday night, right? So things change quickly early in the season, the ebbs and flows of it.
But they're kind of becoming the back-and-forth team, right? The Laker loss sucks.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for it. That was kind of an effort and overlooking thing, and that shouldn't happen. But last night was a big effort. You're down 20 points. Everybody's thinking the same thing, whether in the building or watching on TV.
Yeah.
This one's over.
Oh, for sure. I thought the same thing. Yeah, this game's over.
And they clamped down. They got their offense going. They started building that confidence. They're just never going to quit.
Yeah, I agree with that. Look, what I will always give them credit for is they're going to play hard every night, and that I love. They've been very fun to watch because of that. The Laker game wasn't a ton of fun to watch because that was like, who Smith? What? Who's this guy?
No, for sure.
So, like, that game wasn't fun. But for the most part this year, they've been very entertaining, and you know they're going to play with effort, and they're going to play with intensity. It doesn't mean that the offense will always look pretty. It doesn't mean they're going to have nights where they make shots like they did last night and shoot north of 40% from 3. I also think a couple of things that are in my mind, and maybe this is just who they become, although we'll have to wait and see how the schedule breaks out. I know they got a run of these for a while. You mentioned OKC defensively, or what Portland did to them in the second half defensively. I also think part of that is OKC's on a second of a back-to-back after a late tip, and they're getting into town, and they look like they had tired legs. SGA had some foul trouble, so they had to sit him down for a stretch in the second half. He was a little tired at times. Looks like he was shorthanded without a couple of guys. So that's the other part of this. Like, they're going to be feisty every night. They're going to have nights where they lay an egg, maybe. They're going to have nights where they pull off an upset like this. It's the second time they've done it. They beat Denver last Friday, now they've beaten OKC, two of the teams that I view as some of the best in the Western Conference. They're just, offensively, it's going to take nights like this where you get somebody else doing something. And it was Reith last night. Like, he came out in the second, he was a plus 21 in 20 minutes.
Yeah, he was their best
like in that second quarter, he got hot and then had a great stretch in the fourth quarter. Like, he was massive for them last night. Outside of him, Grant, who has been really good off the bench, they had no other bench points. Murray didn't score in 18 minutes. I know Williams only came in for some rebounds late in the game.
4 minutes.
4 minutes, he was 0-2. And Sissoko came in the second half, and he took one shot. He didn't score.
You're not going to get a lot of minutes from Sissoko.
A lot of my concerns that still exist are not going to change after last night's game. I just question their depth, and I question at times their offense. You get a game like that from Duop Reith, you don't want to waste it. They didn't waste it. He got hot. They rode that, and then everybody else picked it up as the game went on. But I tend to agree with you. When you just look at the landscape of the NBA, playing hard on any given night, I said this going into the year, is good for like 20 wins. Because there's teams you're going to catch sleeping. There's teams you're going to catch on a second of a back-to-back. There's teams you're going to catch that are resting guys. And if you just play with intensity and effort, that's enough to win you a good chunk of games on your schedule. Last night was really impressive, but I don't know if there's any grand takeaways from me.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I get everything. I agree with most of what you said. I just look at, I like the Jazz just lost Walker Kessler for the year.
Yeah.
The Grizzlies and Ja Morant.
God,
that's
have fun.
Is that a divorce? I don't know what's happening there. The Pelicans they're red hot. They've won 2 in a row, but they're still 2-6.
Well, Zion's out now, isn't he, for a week or 2 weeks, or for a hamstring or something?
And Dallas sucks. Like, Cooper Flagg is already depressed. Side note, watched his post-game press conference, and I actually got more upset that he's there. I'm like, this is so ridiculous that he's a Maverick.
It's really stupid.
How they fixed that to happen is so dumb.
It's really stupid.
Phoenix is meh.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the West. There's some really good teams that they're not going to beat, and you're not wrong. Like, their offense is going to disappear, and they'll lose a random game to the Kings, right?
Yeah.
But
it's as simple as making
there's
threes,
some other
man.
bad teams in that
without
conference I think they'll be able to feast on, not to mention the garbage teams in the East when they get to play them.